We've got a regular and one of our favorites in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. And man, are his defensive players responding to the coaches and the coordinator on the defensive side of the football. 7 games without allowing a touchdown in the second half. You have to go back to the 1950s to find that kind of a streak. Pretty impressive. Against Atlanta, not only didn't allow a touchdown, didn't allow a point, shut the Falcons out in the second half. Lou Anarumo has this defense playing at an extremely high level. It's going to have to continue. They shut the run down, controlled the running game of the Atlanta Falcons. That's going to have to continue up in Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns have the NFL's leading rusher, Nick Chubbs. He's leading the league in yards, leading the league in rushing touchdowns. He is a force the Bengals are going to have to deal with. We'll find out what Lou Anarumo has to say about that and so much more. We appreciate you joining us once again in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. As always, coming to you from our outstanding studios, and we have an outstanding guest that we're going to visit with here, defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. Coach, congratulations. Another award-winning defensive game plan. You're on a roll, Coach. You're on a roll.
Appreciate it, Lap. Happy with the way the guys have been playing. Just got to keep it going.
So let me brag on your on what happened during the course of this football game, which was extraordinary to say the least. They ran 45 snaps for 214 yards, 4.8 yards per play. But take away the 75-yard touchdown, which you can't do. I mean, they got it, but it was something that probably shouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
But you take that play away, the other 44 snaps, 139 yards, Coach, 3.1 yards per play. That's not up to snuff per rush. We're talking about rush, pass. We're talking about per play. Are you kidding me? 3 yards per play? That your defensive football team in the second half not only didn't allow a touchdown for the 7th game, which I think you have to go back to the 1950s, the last time that happened. You didn't allow a point. Shut them out in the second half. How proud were you?
Yeah, just very proud. That was a good football team coming in. You know, they were, I think, 3rd or 4th in the league in rushing, and with the number 1 team in the league in terms of they didn't have very many 3-and-outs, and we were able to do that during the game. So, they just come off scoring 28 points against San Fran. We were very aware of who they were, and I was proud of the effort that the players put forth.
You set me up, Coach, with the not many 3-and-outs. 12 3-and-outs going into the football game, fewest in the NFL. Atlanta's offense only had 12 3-and-outs. You 3 3-and-outs in that game, in only 9 possessions. 33% 3-and-out. Here's where the game definitely went in the Bengals' favor. They had the 75-yard touchdown pass, and then they had the punt return that gave them a field goal in about a half minute elapsed time. They closed to within 11 points. They put 10 points on the board, going in the locker room, a little momentum. You guys make sure the ship is righted, and boy, was it. How about these second half numbers? How about these third quarter numbers? They come out, Coach, and you holding to 2 straight 3-and-outs. 2 straight 3-and-outs. I don't think that's happened to them all year long. So in the third quarter, they run 11 total snaps for 17 yards in the third quarter. Add in the fourth quarter, well, they had the ball one time, and they ran a 9-play drive, 23 yards. 20 snaps for 40 yards in the second half. That's suffocation, Coach. That's like, man, you got to get them an oxygen tank. They can't breathe.
Yeah, I appreciate all these great stats. And at the end of the day, we're thrilled we won the game. We just kept saying on the sideline, let's get the ball back to Joe and company, because they're really struggling stopping them. And our guys, stood up to the task and did a great job. So I was super happy with everything we did on Sunday.
When's the last time that you can remember giving up just one play of 20 yards or more. The only play of 20 yards or more the entire game was the 75-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, that's a big. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. That's a big. That's a big indicator whether you're playing good or not. Is the number of explosive runs, explosive passes that you give up, and if you can come away with one in each game, you don't want it to be a 75-yard touchdown pass, obviously, or run, but you're going to win more than you lose if you've got those numbers down low.
So you give up one, the offense gets 10, 9 in the air of 20 yards or more, and then Joe's scramble of 20 yards or more, 10-1 in explosive plays. That's big time, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And you can see the disparity in yardage as well. And, just other than that odd sequence before the half, I think the game was pretty much in control.
All right. So another testament to what you and your coaching staff's doing. You always have to deal with injuries during the course of the National Football League season. You just hope that you don't lose a guy for the year or for an extended number of games. But in this game, no DJ Reader, no Josh Tupou, Tufele, Zach Carter do a great job with BJ Hill and Tyler Shelvin. You get a 4-man rotation still getting it done for you. Jeff Gunter on the edge isn't able to go for you. Other guys step up and fill those snaps. Akeem Davis-Gaither for Logan Wilson with Markus Baily, Joe Bacci. Coach, you're developing your entire roster. You have to be pleased with the depth of your roster stepping up and everybody doing a little so nobody has to do a lot.
Yeah, I think everybody, as you get going during the season, I think each team deals with the injuries. And, if you don't have depth, it's going to be a challenge. And it's a tribute to, Duke Tobin and his staff of making sure we have quality backup players. And certainly our coaches, Marion Hobby and Betch and Rob and Chuck Burks, Rob Livingston and Charles Burks, they do a great job coaching these guys up and just makes my job easier.
One thing that I always look for is, okay, one week maybe there were some problems with maybe not hitting the gap totally properly or getting moved out of a gap or whatever, and some of that happened a little bit, it looked like, in New Orleans. Well, how do you respond? And I'll tell you what, talk about responding. And like I said, it was with guys that haven't had maybe, all those numbers of snaps. But, boy, it didn't look like anybody was in the wrong place at the wrong time very often against Atlanta.
No, we felt good. We had the one drive where they kind of mushed us a little bit down the field. But, overall, I was pleased. We felt good about, we've played games before without Logan. We've played games before without Jermaine. So we felt good about, Marcus and Akeem, and if Joe had to go in there, Bacci. And so, I'm just glad the guys up front stepped up. We kind of know what we had with those backup linebackers just because of our success that we had with those guys last year.
All right, so Coach, let's talk about the next opponent, the Cleveland Browns, here a little bit. You're in the midst of murderer's row in terms of running games. Baltimore. You're in Baltimore, you're in New Orleans, and they run the ball, and they might run it a little differently, but they both have outstanding run game packages and formations and personnel groupings and whatever. And Atlanta is, over 165 yards a game, and you held them to 107, which I thought was a big deal in the football game. And now the Cleveland Browns, and they're running it for, significant yards themselves. And they've got a running back that is number one in the National Football League. They're running it for almost 164 yards a game. He's got 740 yards on the year, number one in the league, averaging 5.9 a carry, and he's rushed it for eight touchdowns, number one in the NFL. The fourth week of murderer's row in the running game. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they've always been that way the last few years for sure. They got a great duo at running back, led by Chubb. He's just, and Hunt, obviously two great backs and two of the top backs in our league. And their O-line does a great job working together. They're coached by one of the best O-line coaches that's ever, put a whistle on, I guess. Yep. They do a great job on offense. And, there's a reason why they're able to, the numbers stat out, and it's not just 1 year. It's just that they've done it consistently.
you mentioned, Coach, the offensive line that's coached by Bill Callahan, Brian Callahan, the Bengals offensive coordinator's dad. But boy, I think it's one of the top three, if not top three, it's definitely one of the top five offensive lines in professional football. And those guards are they're full-grown men in that running game, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Their whole, as you mentioned, not only the guards, but the right across the front. With the tight ends pitching in and doing their job, and they're going to have a bunch of runs that they can throw at you, and it's a challenge, and our guys know it, and we'll be up to the task on Monday night.
Chubb, when I watch him, he's unique to me in that he's a power back that can run away from you. He's got breakaway speed. I mean, he'll run you over and run away from you. It's like, geez, he's not going to necessarily, fool around, give you a bunch of moves. He's hammering, isn't he? Yeah,
and he does a great job after first contact. I mean, you talk about a game where we only had 2 missed tackles this past Sunday, coming off of we had 8 in New Orleans, our worst of the year, and then we ratcheted back down to only 2, which is really, really good.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to have a great tackling game, and it's not very few people get this guy down one-on-one. So he bounces off of the biggest D lineman, will bounce off of him, and he's just a very, very unique runner in terms of, as you just mentioned, the combination of power, where he's hard to bring down by himself, and then, oh, by the way, if he gets in the open field, he can run away from everybody.
Yeah, I mean that's a freakazoid. I saw a video of him squatting in the weight room for Cleveland, and all his teammates are around him, and I mean the bar is bending, the weights are almost touching the floor. I'm like, geez, what's he got, about a ton? It looks like at least 1,000 pounds he's got on that bad boy. I mean, that was crazy.
I saw the same one. I think it was over the break this summer, and my son showed it to me on Instagram, and I was on the beach or something. I said, not now. I don't want to deal with that right now. So here it is, though, right upon us on Monday night.
It looks like they're going to be without Njoku for a little while. He's a factor, obviously, as a threat in the passing game. Cooper, though, and Peoples-Jones are solid. Hunt is another factor in the passing game, isn't he?
Yeah. Yes. Among the issues that you have when you defend this team is, they obviously, everybody knows about what they can do running it. Then you throw, as you mentioned, Amari Cooper into it, and Peoples-Jones into it, and then, oh, by the way, the back. And then they're one of the better screen teams in the league. They gash people in the screen game. So, you got your hands full when you play these guys, for sure.
They'll screen every way known to man, Coach. They'll screen to tight end, screen to back, screen to receivers.
Yeah, they do a great job with it, and have gotten huge chunk plays in the screen game. So it's another emphasis we're going to have this week.
So when you look at it, Jacoby Brissett at the quarterback position, obviously capable. I mean, they've been in just about every football game. They win by 2 against Carolina, lose by a point to the Jets. Pittsburgh handles them pretty well. They lose by 3 to Atlanta. They lose by 2 to the Chargers. New England handles them a little bit, and then Baltimore by 3. It's like this football game is going to be hard fought down to the very end, just like all of them in the NFL are pretty much.
Yeah, I don't think we'll expect anything other than to, go up there and it's going to be a slugfest. It's a rivalry game, obviously. They want to beat us, we want to beat them, and I don't care. It's the old thing. You throw the records out, this, that, and the other thing. It's going to be a heck of a football game, and we know we got our hands full.
Haven't won in Cleveland since 2017, Coach. Got to knock that thing off the block. I got to go as one of my former line coaches, Mike McCormick, who was a great Cleveland Brown himself, and he loved that Bengals-Brown rivalry. And when he was coaching our offensive line with Cincinnati, every single time we played the Browns, they're like, boys, got to go out there and knock them in the lake. Knock them in the lake, man. Yeah, let's go knock them in the lake right now.
Sounds like a plan.
That goes ringing through my ears every time I think about traveling up to Cleveland Municipal Stadium. Coach, appreciate you carving time to join us. You're doing one hell of a job, and your defense is responding to everything that you're asking them to do. It's a pleasure to watch. I really appreciate your efforts, and I know all of Bengal Nation does, sir.
Well, I appreciate it and appreciate all the support always. And Uday, let's go get them. Knock them into the lake, Lap. Let's go.
Let's go knock them in the lake.
All right, I'm going to use that
one. Brownie. Let's go
I'm
get a
use that
brownie.
one. See you, brother.
Later, sir.
See you guys.
At First Star Logistics, we're a very strict company that really puts the pressure on our employees. Brakes? What are those?
That's what I'm talking about, Icky. Get the body right, then the mind's right. You know,
gotta get that body right.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Become a star with a chance to earn the highest commission percentages in the industry as a freight broker agent. Check out firststarlogistics.com.